almost like they had been turning the inside of this encampment into their own little city at some point, and certainly if this had grown, it could have had some more organization there inside. We don't know at this point, and there's no way of telling whether or not how many of these are students or quote-unquote outside agitators at this point, but certainly a growing crowd there over the past couple of days inside that encampment. Let's go to Gina Silva, who's also on the ground there, to get her perspective on what's taking place. Gina.
I'm sorry?
Gina, you're on.
He was just saying they threw a bottle of water, and the officer was telling us, be careful, because it could be urine, and he said something else that I couldn't make out. But they are, what is it? Concrete. That's right. We did see that earlier. Our security guard was actually the one who spotted the students, or maybe not students, but the people at the encampment. They were filling water bottles with cement and water, and obviously that would be something that would be very heavy, and if it hits your head, you could get hurt. But you can just see here they've been setting off those fire extinguishers, which of course makes it really difficult to breathe. And at one point, they tossed the fire extinguisher in this direction. We were able to move out of the way. Thank God we weren't hit. But if you get hit by one of those, you could pass out. I mean, it's dangerous. And you can just see the CHP officers there trying to get control of the situation, but they've got a long day ahead of them. And, you know, we were talking about why did it take so long? Why did it take so long? Well, what we kept hearing was there was a huge concern with the supporters, because there were so many people here that were also not part of the encampment, but they were here to support the people in the encampment. And if the officers had rushed in like they are now, trying to remove the encampment, there was a possibility of that group also rushing into the lawn and then causing even more chaos. So the idea was to kind of get them a little bit tired and maybe, whoa, here, another, what is that? Another water bottle. And so the idea was to get them tired, and hopefully they would be gone by the time that this would happen. And so that's what you're seeing right now. I've looked back there. Everyone is gone. They were probably ordered out of here. And at this point, it's the media, the officers, CHP, there's LAPD. There are officers from different agencies as well. But as you can see, the ones that are taking down this encampment are CHP officers. And it's taken quite some time.
Gina, it looks like they're making progress on those barriers. What are you seeing?
Absolutely, they are making progress with the barriers, but they haven't. The students and the people inside the encampment have not made it easy, not at all. They keep setting off those, fire extinguishers, and so we've seen a couple of the officers like wipe their eyes and you know, try to like spit out because they were struggling to breathe as well. So it makes it a very difficult situation, but it really is incredible what is happening here at UCLA. It's something that I will never forget.
Yeah, anybody watching this will not forget. Gina Silva, thank you to you and Sam Dubin for all the work you're doing out there. And you think about the reason that CHP is taking the lead is UCLA is actually under the jurisdiction of the UC Police. It's not under the jurisdiction of the LAPD. That is a state agency. CHP is the only state law enforcement agency. They have the most tools of everything involved in terms of the state, and they are the ones that are taking the lead on this. Mario Ramirez is just joining our coverage. Mario, what are you seeing from your perspective?
Yeah, so we're with about a group of 100, maybe 150 protesters, and we're seeing a line here from dozens of CHP officers. I want to have photographer Howard Wells get a little closer. We were hearing chanting just a short time ago, "Where were you yesterday?" referring to the delayed police response. We were here talking about that on campus as there was violence unfolding for hours before police arrived, and they were pushing these people on campus back step by step, and at times getting into some heated scuffles, pushing some of the people here in this group on the ground, but that has since calmed down. They are in place, and I want to try and talk to one of the protesters here because, you know, at times they are getting loud and using profanity, but we've been hearing from a few. Okay, but we can tell you that they are controlling the group. They are moving them back. We are just in front of Kaplan Hall, and they've moved us towards the physics and science building. So at one point, they were pushing this group back. You can see now that line in place here, about 100 feet from that encampment setup. Send it back to you for now.
It's interesting that we're not seeing, many what looks like arrests yet. Just giving you an idea of they're still trying to break this structure down to even get to the people, Mario.
Yeah, I did see 3 people that were zip-tied sitting on the sidewalk before they were taken away to another area, maybe taken onto a bus or a police vehicle to be taken into custody. So we have seen people zip-tied here. I counted at least 3, but no active arrests, no active zip ties or people being taken into custody at the moment, but we did see that a little earlier.
All right, thank you so much, Mario. We will continue to watch the situation there. You're watching an early edition of Good Day LA. Alex Michelson been waiting overnight as this situation has been tenuous, intense throughout the evening. And about a half hour ago, police decided to finally move in on that encampment there on the UCLA campus. So we want to thank you for your help.
It's just a really sad situation as people that love this city to be watching this happening here. And let's hope that there is some sense of order, when there is daylight. And just a shout out as well, just to our crews that are doing such hard work out there. Our thanks to all of them, especially the photographers that are really in the middle of it. So I'll be watching your coverage, and we'll see you a little bit later on today.
It's been nice to have you here, but I guess 20 hours is good enough, huh?
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue our coverage now. Let's go back on the ground. Gigi Graciette is right there on the front line. Gigi, what are you seeing right now?
Well, we just saw a big fight break out between protesters and police. One of the protesters was near a fire extinguisher, and you heard the California Highway Patrol officers shouting at them, "Don't pick it up, don't pick it up." Very tense moments. The protester did not pick it up. They continue to dismantle this. Many people have been taken into custody already, but the biggest challenge so far has been dismantling the encampment. And basically what police are doing is they're circling the protesters, and that group is getting smaller and smaller, although it is still quite large. Tony Butita, come to me for a second. I just want to show you some of the things that we've seen flying from the encampment here. This is a lantern. It's still lit. This just came flying from the encampment here. So protesters are throwing things at police officers at the California Highway Patrol. I'm going to leave this here now. As you see, photographer, there's another scuffle right now. They are beginning to resist being arrested. The protesters are grabbing other protesters that are being taken into custody. So it's sort of a tug of war between police, protesters, and in the middle, the protester being taken into custody. Not nice to see. This is what no one wanted to see. And please interrupt me if you have another shot. Look at that piece of metal right now that just came flying. How they got, you have to ask yourself, how did they get all of this into the encampment? These pieces of plywood, it's not like you can put them in your pocket. And a lot of people very critical of UCLA, both officials, university officials and campus police, that they allowed all of this material. We're talking about tables, metal chairs, wood, metal barriers that we're seeing, easy ups, tents, umbrellas, things that you can't easily sneak into campus. And obviously police, campus officials should have known what this was going to be used for, yet they allow this to continue, and what you allow to continue will exactly continue. Photographer Tony Butita, let's go down to this sign right here. I just want to show a sign on one of those pieces of plywood. Bruins say Free Palestine. A lot of signage on the metal, on the wood barriers that have been spray painted all through campus. Actually, yesterday we walked up to the cafe to use the restroom, and all the walls outside the campus cafe were spray painted with Free Palestine. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, Gigi, we were talking to Gina, and I could see her eyes watering. She was saying, it was hard to breathe because of what was in the air around her. What is it like, for you? Besides having to dodge these parts of these structure being thrown in your direction.
We have dodged
just quite a few items thrown in our direction, both by police officers who are dismantling the encampment and by the protesters who occasionally will throw things at the officers. It is hard to breathe. Your eyes water.